Americans are sheep being led to slaughter. Debt-ridden, diseased, emotionally battered, and compliant. That's why this week only, Burger King will be offering the Impossible Burger free as you dive off a cliff into the abyss. Eat, dive, die. Have it the corporate state's way.
Welcome to Apocalypse Soon with Eddie Pepitone. On tonight's show, driving in the rain, checking in with Al and Margret. And now, your host, Eddie Pepitone.
It's Eddie Pepitone, and welcome everybody to another episode of Apocalypse Soon. Now, as you can tell, if you're watching this one on YouTube or wherever you watch things, perhaps a silo in Oklahoma where we do broadcast to, but that's for very big Patreon members. Anyway, here I am in a hotel room in Midtown Manhattan about to shoot an episode of the Hulu show Rami, and so that's the unusual circumstances, but that's what you have to do when you are a person on the go doing podcasts. And I bring my equipment with me now, and I'm not responsible for that kind of painting behind me. Who thinks that's good? Not me. Anyway, welcome. We are doing a ragtag episode. Not really ragtag. It's going to be great. We've got Al and Margret. We've got Driving in the Rain. We've got Gus Labotamavitch, poet laureate of the space station. And, April is Poetry Month. So anyway, we have a lot here. Kevin Tinkin, he's in LA. He'll be contributing, as he always does. So stick around for a great episode.
And now, poetry with Gus Labotamavitch.
Hello, my name is Gus Labotamavitch, and as you know, next month, April, is National Poetry Month, but here we are in March, and I'd like to wet your whistle for what's coming up in April, and I'm going to read a couple of my poems from my Interrupted series. This one is called Ammonia. I work for an ammonia factory. Oh, ammonia. Ammonia, I stir it like a witch from Macbeth. Stirring the ammonia. Oh shit, my boss. Thank you. This next one is called The Fog of War. Kind of relevant right now. Remember, it's in April, not March. I'm just wetting your whistle. Oh, fog of war, the fog rolling in. The fog, it rolls in, everything gets foggy with the fog of war. I can't find a fucking thing with this fog. Where's my wallet? Thank you. And this last one I'm gonna read you is it's dear to me. Yeah, this is this happens in relationships. You're gonna love it. I sit at brunch with the wife. I say to her, honey, I did not have an affair with the interior decorator. Oh shit, the waitress. Thank you. These are my Interrupted series. Remember to support poets in the month of April, unless they have screwed you over, unless, a poet has done something bad to you. Like I once had this landscaper who was a poet, and he burned my house down out of spite because I was late paying him. So, use your judgment on who you support. Well, I'm gonna lay it out to you folks. I am being pitched for being the Poet Laureate of Outer Space because we are expanding the space program. As you know, I read my poems once on the space station. I'll read you one now. This one is called Zero Gravity. Zero gravity. Oh boy. It's scary up here in the space station. Oh boy, zero gravity. I don't weigh a fucking thing in zero gravity. I can eat what I want. Nobody breaks my balls about what I eat because I don't weigh shit in zero gravity. Zero gravity. Pass me the pasta. Thank you. So, I am being considered for Poet Laureate of Outer Space because of my, time up there on the space station. I love outer space. Here's another one. It's just simply called The Space Between the Stars. Holy shit, that's a lot of space between the stars. I was just told that if you travel from the Andromeda Galaxy to Earth, it would take you 5 million fucking years. Holy shit, I get aggravated when I'm on the Kosciuszko Bridge for more than an hour. 500 million years to get from Andromeda Galaxy back to the Earth. No thanks. So, what I do is I love outer space, and people want me to be the Poet Laureate of outer space, and, I'll take it under consideration. I mean, I'm very busy right now with the rash I have. I have a gigantic rash that runs from my neck to my foot, and the doctors are saying, you better really take care of it. But what a pain in the ass to put the ointment on. I wrote a poem about that. Here it is. Oh, rash. Oh, rash. You go from my neck to my foot. A big red fucking thing. It sucks. And you thrive on this, you shitty rash. You are a piece of shit, Rash. I am trying to love myself, and I do so with the help of Thich Nhat Hanh, Eckhart Tolle, and Ram Dass. Yet you piece of shit, Rash, you make me curse all fucking day because you itch, and you make me think I am less than. So fuck you, Rash, and wherever you came from. I hope your family dies in a head-on collision with a tractor-trailer. Fuckface. Thank you. So, I don't know, being a Poet Laureate is a lot of responsibility, really. And sometimes my poems are controversial. You have to own what you are, and this poem I'm about to read you is very much in that vein. It's called I Shot a Cabbie. I said, make the right. He said, no, I'll go straight here. I said, make the right. He said, I'll go straight, it's quicker. I said, I've been living in this area for 25 years. Make the fucking right. He kept going straight. Luckily, I had a German Luger on me. I popped 2 bullets in his head. His head slumped against the wheel. It honked and crashed into a fruit market, killing 7 others. I calmly got out and took off. to the right. Thank you. That, again, not proud of that, but, you know, I lived here 25 years. Make the fucking right, you know? And the guy doesn't. So to be a poet laureate, for me, I think would be, you know, a big responsibility, and I don't know if I want to do it, you know? I mean, I would get to express a lot of my stuff, and one thing I'm really fond of, I think you can see it in the background here all over, is nature. And I'd like to read you this. This is called Flowers. Oh, flowers. They grow toward God. They lift up their arms and lift up their stamens and pistils and all that other shit. They come through the ground and go toward God. I say God is dead. They say, we're growing toward God. I say, look at all the trouble in the world and all the needless death. You think there's a God, Flower? Really? Tell that to all the people who are fucked every day. Okay, Flower? You fucking little tulip. Fuck you. Fuck you. Thank you. So being poet laureate may or may not be for me. You know, I have a lot of people who are for it, but more people are against it, especially after the Twin Tower poem and the yogurt. They didn't like that one. You know, they're sensitive. Everybody's sensitive. Oh, I had a person I lost in the Twin Tower. Did you have a yogurt? Anyway, I would like to be the poet laureate because, you know, I love nature, as you just heard. You know, I have some qualms with nature too, as you heard. But I think this one you're going to love. It's called, Are You a River or Are You a Fucking Lake? Here we go. Hey! Body of water! Fuck are you? Hey, I'm talking to you. Body of water. The fuck are you? You a river or a lake? So, I do get into arguments with, you know, waters, different bodies of water. But one thing I really love, and I have no qualms about, are trees. And let me read this one about trees. Oh, sturdy oak right outside my window. There's a Category 4 hurricane coming tonight. Do not crash into my bedroom. I've got Millie coming over. Yes, I always like to get laid during a Category 4 hurricane. And I don't want you, tree, crashing into me, but I know my sturdy oak. Sturdy as God, who is dead. Sturdy as the sturdiest cabinet or the sturdiest piece of steel. Do not come crashing into my bedroom as I make love to Millie while the Grateful Dead plays in the background, which turns her on. She loves Come Here, Uncle John Say, and that kind of shit. I don't care for it, but whatever gets her hot. Category 4 tonight, sturdy oak. Please don't come into my bedroom window. So that's the Sturdy Oak poem, and I would just like, again, to remind everybody that National Poetry Month is April. This is to wet your whistle here in March. I want everybody to have a great day. And remember, Bert Law got fucked as the Cowardly Lion in The Wizard of Oz because nobody could remember his face because it was all makeup, and he got fucked. Bye, everybody.
Well, your mind is falling apart as well as your life. You're now alone with a hot plate and a gun. Maybe 5 days to live. Well, in those 5 days, you can save over $60 if you order Chipotle's new Queso Loco Burrito with Uner Popas and Fritosas Merengues. Chipotle. Get it.
And now, Driving in the Rain with Eddie Pepitone.
I got into my cab, my little yellow cab, and the rain was coming down hard, really hard, harder than a math problem. I pulled to the right, and I saw what I didn't want to see. I saw her. She was standing there in all her beauty. I kept looking at her, and I almost hit the rear end of the car in front of me. She was there. I loved her so much it hurt. It hurt badly, very badly. It hurt worse than a math problem. Did I ever tell you I hated math? I don't think in a linear fashion. I think like a real guru. I just try to be. The rain came down harder. The rain was pounding on my windshield like a landlord who wanted rent. Pound, pound, pound. Let me in, said the ghosts of my past. Let me in, said the ghosts of my past. I looked at her one last time and she finally turned around. She must have sensed my eyes boring into her. Her eyes met mine and I saw a single tear roll down her cheek, and I drove off into the Los Angeles night. I kept driving. I got onto the freeway. I wanted room. I wanted space. So I drove into the moonlight, the rain coming down, coming down, coming down. I lit a cigarette. The cigarette burned. The ember just kept burning, reminded me that my heart burned, my heart yearned. My heart yearned for love the way a tree yearns for light and sky and rain. As the rain fell, I noticed the little prayer beads next to me. I grabbed the prayer beads with one hand, the rain pounding down on my windshield, pounding down the way fraternity boys pound down beers. It just kept coming down, the rain, and I grabbed the prayer beads with one hand. I kept driving with the other. The rain kept coming down, and I noticed as I was stroking the prayer beads that I had a microscopic cut on my hands. And I prayed to the prayer beads, to the great universe, to the source of everything, to the almighty oneness that we all are a part of. I prayed that this microscopic cut on my hand was not a bite from an insect that could kill me. I wanted to live more. I wanted to feel it. I drove on that freeway, and I finally got off. I got off on the freeway. I put my prayer beads down. The rain now was coming down so swiftly. It was swifter. The rain came down swifter than a computer connection. It was like the synapses in a smart man. and I pulled into a gas station. I hurried out, bought another pack of cigarettes, Marlboro. I was saving up for the iron lung on the Marlboro miles. And I got back into the car, I lit a Marlboro, and I drove onto the street. And I didn't want to go on the highway again. I didn't want that much room. So I just drove on a back road until I found a dead end, and I parked. And the rain just kept hammering my windshield. It was hammering my windshield like a carpenter building a cabinet. And he had a deadline at 3 p.m, and it was 2:45. Just hammering my windshield. The relentless rain, more relentless than killer bees swarming its prey. And I stayed in that car on that dead end. It felt like an eternity. It felt like I had never been born, and that I would never die. I would always be here in this car.
Here we are in Midtown Manhattan, and I gotta tell you something. I haven't been to New York in, a little bit, just a few months, but sometimes it gets to me, the way people are just, it's like everybody is like just, I've been hearing car horns. I can't even articulate things. I mean, you hear me right now. I can't even articulate the incredible, crowdedness, lack of space. And I'm a person who believes in stillness. I do if you follow my career. I believe in it. Can I execute stillness? No. The only things that I like to execute are cockroaches, who I find in my apartment. By the way, no one talks about that anymore, about having cockroaches in their apartment. I think because things have gotten so bad with viruses and, food shortages and just poverty in general, that cockroaches are considered, something not even worthy to talk about. But in my day, growing up in New York City, we had hand-to-hand combat with cockroaches. I'm talking hand-to-hand. I'll never forget this one cockroach. He was about the size of a child, a 7-year-old child, not a precociously grown 7-year-old child, but he was big. If he was a he, I don't understand the sex of cockroaches. I have watched some cockroach porn, and it's not as hot as I had hoped. It's just what you see in cockroach porn are two, cockroaches fucking. Anyway, and it's not that sexy because you're like, how are they doing? You're like looking around, and then the peep show booth door goes down. For those of you who remember peep show booths. By the way, I remember peep show booths. I'm not proud of it that I used to go to them, and I used to drink NyQuil and wander around Times Square in New York City. Marijuana, NyQuil. What else? What other drugs were? That was mostly it. A lot of weed. Back then it was called weed, and I would, wander into peep shows, and I would tip my hat, to the peep show people who were there. I'd say, good afternoon, gents. And actually I was up for a job at a peep show. I was up for greeter at a peep show. I was going to be a greeter in a peep show booth where people would come in to the booths to masturbate. I use the word masturbate now because I feel like some of you are genteel people, and you may not like the term jerk off furiously like a person in a mental institution. So I would tip my hat to them and say, welcome to the Peep Show, folks. If I was a Peep Show greeter, I'd be like, hello, Mr. Johnson. Booth number 7 is open, and I hear there's quite a nice selection of videos for you tonight, sir. And Mr. Johnson would say, thanks a lot. And a lot of people didn't like to be greeted coming into a Peep Show to masturbate or to jerk off like a man in a mental institution, whatever you want to say, because they would be doing this because of lack of self-esteem. They would be wandering into Peep Shows. The reasons were varied. It was lack of self-esteem. It was horniness and nowhere to place it. And it was basically being bored. Some people were just bored and would wander into Peep Shows, When I was wandering into Peep Shows, I was just a lost soul, I could have went to the New York Public Library, and studied, but instead I would wander into Peep Shows and I would just be like, good evening, gentlemen, not as the greeter, but as the person coming in. And everybody would be like, fuck does he want? And I'd be like, good evening, folks. I was a gregarious member of that underclass, the underclass of a self-loathing, just spinning your wheels in a self-loathing morass of drugs and lack of connection with the human race. I mean, we don't have Peep Shows anymore, and I think that's a good thing. Even though I haven't gone to 42nd Street, they might have them. I think I will go to them. I know we have a great show for you today, and I'm not finished. I'm not finished with this monologue about Peep Shows. So that would be the thing. I would go into Peep Shows, and I originally got into this by talking about watching cockroaches have sex. I'll tell you, I don't know if you've heard this, but whales supposedly have the biggest cocks or penises, whatever word you want to use. I don't know why this monologue went into this area of life, but I think, and I will do this with Rachel Fell again, my existential life coach, about the shadow in us all. So I bring out the shadow in us all. And also, as you know, this podcast is about, the apocalypse being soon. And one of the unravelings of a society is moral, spiritual, mental unraveling, decay. And I embody that, big time. I mean, I've kind of evolved out of it a little, but I'm still weighted down by a metaphorical desire to wander into a Peep Show on NyQuil, and now maybe put some omeprazole in there for my stomach. I would wander into a Peep Show now with NyQuil, omeprazole for my stomach, an acid reflux controller, and perhaps just a little, and I mean a touch of ayahuasca, just so if I'm in a Peep Show, and they still might have them, just so if I'm in a Peep Show, I will have some awareness of what the hell I'm doing. Now, ayahuasca is not done in Peep Shows. By the way, if you don't know what a Peep Show is, it's where pornography is shown in the old days. And by old days, I mean in 1980s, I think, 1970s for sure. But anyway, I would wander into Peep Shows now with NyQuil, weed, omeprazole, and a little ayahuasca to have some self-awareness. So, I just want you to know that you're in good hands here at Apocalypse Soon with me, Kevin Tinkin, Aaron Brungart, and I will be reporting back on what happened if I do find a peep show. Usually you can find them on 8th Avenue if you're familiar with New York City. And Paul Simon and Art Garfunkel sang a song, just to come on from the whores on 7th Avenue. It was 7th Avenue, not 8th Avenue. 7th Avenue right now has been cleaned up. It's just a lot of Disney stores. And anyway, I just want to say welcome cockroach porn, which I will give you. Excuse me, I'm burping. I just had an oatmeal and a large coffee. Maybe the large coffee is responsible for this monologue. But anyway, I want you to stick around. We have Driving in the Rain. We have Al and Margaret. And we're doing this all from New York City and LA combined. So stick around for Apocalypse Now.
And now, checking in with Al and Margaret.
Al? Al, where are you? God damn it, Margaret, can't you let me be for a couple of seconds? Al, I'm only very concerned about you. I want to give you your space. If you want to give me my space, then why don't you give it to me? Oh, Al, I find you so attractive. Oh, Margaret, maybe for just once, you would look at me as someone who's a deep thinker instead of my body. Well, Al, if you didn't want me to look at your body, then why do you spend so much time on it? I mean, that's contradictory, isn't it, Al? I mean, I let my body go so you can, see me as a deep thinker because my body's a wasteland now. Look, Margaret. Yes, you're a deep thinker, and yes, you've let your body go. Oh, have I? Yes, look, Margaret, why don't we just make a soy hot dog and forget about all this? Al, every time we have a real conflict, you try to get out of it by making a soy hot dog. Well, I like soy hot dogs, and, these conflicts, these bitter conflicts that go on, Margaret, between us, they never get resolved, so why not break it up with the soy hot dog? All right, Al, I'll make a soy hot dog, but I want you to explain to me how you think my body has gone to waste. Well, you said your body's gone to waste, Margaret. I know, but that's one thing for me to say it. It's another thing for you to say it, Al. Look, I told you I would like you to wear a truss. Oh, wow, this isn't the 1890s. People don't wear trusses anymore. Look, Margaret, I have a friend, Mike Zabinajit, and Mike wears trusses, and they make him look thinner and more vibrant, and his dating life has picked up. Al, my truss that you gave me is no longer operable, Margaret. That truss cost me a lot of money. Please make me a soy hot dog. All right, I'll make you a soy hot dog. Do you want me to fry it in oil or bake it or boil it? Margaret, you know how I like my soy hot dogs, just like I like my women, sautéed and stirred a little. Oh, Al, you always screw up that joke. Okay, soy hot dog it is. Oh, Al, sometimes while I'm making soy hot dogs for you and the light comes streaming in the windows, I think to myself, maybe things aren't so bad, we both have been here, living inside of Eddie Pepitone's head for so long now. Look, Margaret, how many times have I told you we don't live it? We're separate entities. You keep saying we live inside this guy's head. If we did, then we wouldn't care if we said to each other, your body's a wasteland, make me a soy hot dog. It wouldn't mean anything. Oh, wow, you know that We're just other parts of Eddie Pepitone, and this keeps him busy. I mean, if he wasn't kept busy with characters like us, he might cause harm to his environment and to other people. Ah, come on, Margaret. We're separate entities. Come here, baby. Come here. You know I love you. You don't have to claim that we're just, figments of Eddie Pepitone's imagination. We're real people, Margaret. We live here in a suburb of Massachusetts called Lycum. Called what? Lycum. Lycum? Well, or whatever, Waltham, or, Grantham, Granite's the Granite State. No, that's New Hampshire, Al. Did you say you love me? Did I miss that? No, I love you very much, and, even if we are figments of Eddie Pepitone's imagination, that dress you have on is kind of sexy. Oh, Al, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Oh, my God, the soy hot dog caught fire. Oh, my God, Margaret, I told you. How come every time I love talk you, when I talk to you in a loving way, you set things on fire? Or where's the fire extinguisher? We don't have a fire extinguisher, Al. We're just figments in the imagination of Eddie Pepitone. And that concludes another episode of Al and Margaret, a couple who live inside Eddie Pepitone's head.
All right, everybody, that was our show. I hope you enjoyed it. I want you all to go on Patreon. Become a Patreon member. Patreon.com/Eddie Pepitone. Patreon.com/Eddie Pepitone. Become a Patreon member. Go to EddiePepitone.com, my mothership for everything Eddie Pepitone. I am going to be touring all over the goddamn place this year. Is that a wise thing to do? I think so. I tested negative for COVID after being at the South by Southwest Festival. You should hear when I test negative, all I do when I get that result, I'm like, woohoo! So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again next week.